Hi there. Here you have another example of a Dutch. This time, as you'll find out shortly, this one doesn't go so well. So what we have here on the right hand side, I'm just selecting my two runners, Follow Charlie and Masked Crusader. With two selections in the Dutch, the green up process will be for £30. Now, as you'll see later, this race is actually going to run into the next race at Wolverhampton. So I just carried on recording that process, and so we'll tie into the Wolverhampton race as well. So at the moment, what you're looking at is me just showing you where these runners need to drop in order to recover the money on the other runner, as well as a £30 profit, assuming the other member of the Dutch went straight out to 1,000. So you'll see they have to drop down to about 2.3 or thereabouts. So at the beginning of the race, fairly early on, you can see we're in the green. We can green up manually, as is so often the case. But we're looking for £30 in this particular race with the green up strategy I'm using in this particular Dutching process. But what you'll find is that from about now onwards, it starts to slowly go into the red, increasingly so up to about minus £20 or thereabouts. And it stays there for a big chunk of the race, with neither Follow Charlie or Masked Crusader really making that much of an impression. And it's not until the tail end of the race that things start to turn green again, but as you'll see towards the end, neither of those runners quite makes a big enough impression, and so the trigger point is never reached. The green up process doesn't fire, and I end up taking a hit. Now keep in mind that I've always been of a position where I don't trade out in running with my Dutchies if they look as if they're going to lose, because so many times I've found that I would have been in a winning position if I had left things alone. So I've learned to leave things alone, but occasionally it means that I take a hit. That's just something I've learned to accept. But also keep in mind that I'm not afraid to actually show you losing trades. I don't show you trades that are continually winning all the time. I'm quite happy to show you the ones where I have screwed up one way or the other. Now shortly this video will quickly switch to Wolverhampton. The automated procedure automatically switches to the next race as it approaches. So we're going to go off to Wolverhampton very shortly. In the meantime, this is going to chug along, still in the red. As you can see, we're touching minus 20 fairly regularly, and it's not until we come back from the initial setup phase of the Wolverhampton race that we'll see it going back into the green for a while. You can actually see there Masked Crusader is starting to come down a little bit. It's sort of hovering around its initial entry point of 8. But Follow Charlie isn't really playing ball at the moment. And that's really the story of this race. Neither selection really did as well as I would have hoped. Okay, that's a switch to Wolverhampton, so we'll quickly nip up to the automation tab, and there's all the selections that I've already predefined in the automation. So there's going to be 4 selections there, so that'll green up for £15 hopefully. So switching back to the Carlisle race, you can see now we're down to almost scratch, just getting into the green now. You'll see there's plenty of opportunity to trade out for a smaller profit, but again, I'm reluctant to do so, prepared to take the hit when these sort of situations arise. So we're touching on 20 there for a moment. So in terms of the actual selections, I'm quite happy with the selections. They did shorten in price, both of them, at different times. It's just that they didn't really work together to get me into a position where I could green up for my target profit. So as I say, I'm reasonably happy with the selection process in that both of those runners shortened in price. Unfortunately, they didn't shorten quite enough to get me to my target profit. So we'll end up taking a hit on this one. So that's Mass Crusader completely out of it now, and Follow Charlie is quickly on the way there as well. So switching back to the Wolverhampton race, which is about to kick off as they're loading. So you'll see we've got 4 selections in this case, which means a target profit of £15, and you'll see as this video is approaching its end that target profit will be hit fairly quickly. So that's the race off and running, and you'll see the green up option there quickly going into the green and then being triggered right away. So we're just waiting on the lay bet on Boasty to be taken, and there we have it, £16 across the board, all done and dusted in about 16 seconds. Okay, so there's an example of a failure and right after it a successful trade. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you later.